My name is Alyssa Leiden. I lead the product marketing team at Sauce Labs. It's my first test automation day, so I'm super excited to be here. And yes, I'm also joining you live from the Oakland Coliseum right behind me. Go A's. We play later today. We're down 1-0. I'm hoping we can turn it around. But my goal here is to kind of pick up where Ryan left off with kind of showing you some of those industry trends, kind of, as you mentioned, the pandemic putting the spotlight on a further need for those flawless digital experiences and some of the more testing specific dynamics that we've seen shifting in the market today, and kind of map that back to how that influences Sauce's roadmap and give you kind of a sneak peek at some of the stuff that we have either already available today to Sauce customers or that is coming down the pipe really soon. So those of you who have interacted with Sauce materials in the past, you've seen our marketing stuff, you should be very familiar with this little infinity loop here as kind of our representation of what continuous testing looks like, integrating testing early and more often throughout the development cycle. And we still believe that this image best demonstrates that exact concept of how teams should be striving to test early, test often, use quality as the gatekeeper between different stages of the development lifecycle, right? Your SLDC, your SDLC, the software delivery lifecycle. But as Ryan just mentioned in the previous slide with testing really shifting left and right, and again, it's not that testing wasn't happening at these points in the pipeline. Instead, we're seeing a lot of increases in scale, new personas kind of coming to the table and having that vested interest in the quality of their web and mobile applications due to the fact that the customer experience really is paramount for the health and success of the business as a whole. And so what we've kind of started thinking about at Sauce is abstracting testing kind of away from the development pipeline and thinking more of a testing pipeline that's layered on top of that. And so as you'll see here, we've kind of abstracted that out into 3 different areas. There's development test, there's integration test, and there's production test. And each has kind of its own persona that goes with it, who has their own motives and intentions and goals with quality and the types of testing that they do and the markers that they're looking for when it comes to health of the application. Obviously, the developers are very focused on that development test piece where they're looking at code quality. Does my code work? QA traditionally sits in that integration phase in the middle of the pipeline, asking questions of does the application as a whole work? And then on the production side, you see ops, product managers, maybe even marketing folks like myself really leaning into testing and asking how does my user interact with my application and where are those risks or gaps within in that point in the pipeline. And so as you'll see on the next slide, this often leads to new silos that we're seeing across our customers. And we hope that this resonates with some of you here who are trying to build unified quality efforts of kind of the silos that exist there. So again, those 3 points, development, integration, production, hold out from that continuous testing loop. And the fact of the matter is that while there's systems underneath that are kind of controlling this whole pipeline, whether it's source control or CI, each persona within these 3 different silos, whether it's developers, QA, or ops, they each have their own set of tools and frameworks that they prefer, their own processes, their own measurement, their own kind of goals that they want to achieve. And so what happens is they all start building their own, what we call DevOps test tool chain. And it's these separate efforts that create these natural silos. Think about the silo that used to exist between dev and QA. Well, now it's really these different silos between quality points in the pipeline. And anyone who's tried to make these systems talk and try and create that unified view understands how messy this can get and how communication breakdown really does occur very quickly when trying to unify those signals, right? And so this makes it super difficult for anyone in the organization, whether in QA, developer, marketing, product. It gives everyone a difficult time understanding that complete picture into the health of an application as a whole, because you have 3 different or even more sets of quality signals operating at different points in the pipeline. And so at Sauce Labs, we think the ideal solution that we're trying to provide and our vision for our product in the short and long term really kind of looks like this, right? We were one of the first vendors in the space to start talking about the need to break down the dev and QA silo. And now we're really shifting that focus from, okay, that's happening. Testing is shifting left, testing is shifting right. How do we break down natural quality silos that start to emerge and unify test signals across the pipeline? And so the vision for our platform is evolving beyond a point of an infrastructure solution. You know, we just provide the browsers and the operating systems and the mobile devices. And instead, we're really shifting to working to become a flexible testing platform for anyone who's concerned with quality at any stage in the software development lifecycle or across that testing pipeline. So for us, this means providing a platform that's framework agnostic. As Ryan said, open source is in our DNA. We were historically only compatible with Selenium and Appium. As you'll see, we've made big improvements in our platform to change that and broaden our ecosystem to support different frameworks that appeal to different personas and provide options to run tests in the cloud, or you can run them locally, or you can run them on other platforms to help achieve your speed and scale goals. But beyond the test execution piece, we believe our platform is best situated to help deliver on the promise of quality visibility and quality optimization. And that goes back to this whole idea of unifying these quality signals as illustrated on the schematic here on the left, all those passes and fails, those checks and X's. Instead of keeping them in their own separate spheres, let's unify those quality signals and provide tools, a layer of tools along with that to help anyone in your organization understand where you can focus optimization efforts. And there's a lot of great stuff we're doing here on our insights and data analytics platforms that are helping to that end, to help our customers become better testers. Our goal is to provide the most complete platform that gives any person in your organization, from QA, who we've traditionally served historically, to developers who we're starting to see more and more come to our platform, even your leadership. How does this vision impact our immediate product priorities, right? There are 4 key areas that we're focusing on as an organization. The first and foremost that I won't really dive into today is the ability to provide an always-on platform. We know this is core to our benefit and our value to our customers. And so our engineering team has been working really hard all through 2020 to achieve a goal of a target of 3.9 uptime to support our customers, but also kind of help us in building the foundations for these other enhancements that I'm about to share with you. The next 3 are really where I'm going to dig in, right? We mentioned kind of expanding the benefits of our platform to other personas and other folks in your organization. We've started to focus on the developer more and more, as you'll notice in a second. We're looking for ways to continually unify quality signals outside of just functional testing. What other types of testing can we incorporate into our platform to provide a more holistic view of quality? And then finally, how can we help you deliver insights to help test better? What improvements have we made on the data side to help our customers become better testers? So first, let's talk about expanding testing to developers with one of our newest features, the Test Runner Toolkit. So SOS Test Runner Toolkit is essentially a containerized testing solution. So think of our headless browsers that we released about a year ago. This allows developers to simplify the setup, execution, and viewing test results of the types of tests that they might run early in the pipeline. This includes support for other open source frameworks besides Selenium and Appium. Through Test Runner Toolkit, developers can run tests in Cypress, Test Cafe, Puppeteer, and Playwright. They can run those tests locally on a pre-configured container that comes shipped with Chrome and Firefox, comes with the frameworks and automation tools that you need to help support those tests, all pre-configured within that toolkit. And then developers can then run that test either locally on their own machine, or they can run them in mass parallel via the infrastructure they have through their CI/CD infrastructure. Coming up soon is the ability to also leverage SOS infrastructure to run those tests in massive parallel. But no matter how you choose to run it, whether it's local, through CI, or through SOS, all test results are posted back to your SOS Labs account, which allows you to take advantage of debugging, analysis, and then that's all lumped in together for insights reporting so you can get that more holistic view of quality. This is currently in beta. It's available for free. I'm sure we'll send some links after the fact in a follow-up email, but this lives in our documentation where you can get a quick tutorial on how to get started with Test Runner Toolkit. Moving on to the third point in our pipeline, unifying quality signals. For SOS customers, this will be of interest. We currently now have mobile real device testing, or our real device cloud, available on SOS Labs. A few years back, we acquired a real device cloud company called TestObject. And after years of work and lots of effort, we are finally happy to report that you now have access to real physical mobile devices within SOS Labs. So you no longer have to go to TestObject to access those test results. They now all live unified on the SOS Labs platform. So you're able to leverage Selenium and Appium. You're able to do perform live testing. You're able to access SOS Connect. You're able to use app storage all within SOS Labs. There's still some features that are coming down the pipe here, and we'll be making those announcements as they come. But for the most part, the majority of our test object platform now lives fully on Sauce Labs. So for anyone on the line who's doing real device testing with Sauce, we encourage you to start trying that out and unifying your quality signals. Another way we're unifying quality signals through Sauce, again, I mentioned we got our start in functional front-end testing. We've started making a play into other types of quality signals and other types of testing to help unify those efforts, and visual is where we've really started to make moves. About a year ago, we acquired a company called Screener based out of Canada, and we've already have a solution on the market right now, visual, which allows for developers to perform visual component testing. This involves a native integration to Storybook, which allows developers to automatically run visual component tests without the need to build any sort of automation scripts. It just plugs right in to Storybook, and you can run tests via frameworks that are built in either React, Vue, or Angular. And what we do there is we automatically detect and highlight visual regressions with a hybrid diff technology, essentially comparing a screenshot and a DOM snapshot to a visual test to a baseline that you set, so you can kind of see immediately what any sort of visual changes occurred whenever changes are introduced to the application. We're also in the final stages. We're currently in a closed beta with a select set of customers on also incorporating visual end-to-end. So for folks in QA, this will be of interest to you. This is the ability to use your existing WebDriver tests to perform automated visual checks across all the different browsers and different resolutions. So you can incorporate visual testing much more easily into your workflow at the integration phase. And all of this will be unified under the Sauce Labs platform next year. And finally, insights to test better. Super proud of this platform being released earlier this year, which is currently in an open beta. This is failure analysis. And what failure analysis was the result of the work our data science team did when looking at our continuous testing benchmark and noticing that flaky tests were still a major issue for the majority of our customers. The pass rate for a lot of our customers was still under 80%, which was not ideal for us. And so our data science team looked at a subset of a customer's tests to try and do some analysis and understand why tests are failing. And they found that a vast majority of these subset of tests were failing for the same exact reason. And so what they decided to do was take that technology that they had used to analyze just a subset of tests and just start to apply it to all of our customers' tests through failure analysis. And what this tool does within Insights is it uses a machine learning algorithm to not just pull out all of your tests and identify the ones that are experiencing failures, it also aggregates them in a meaningful way based on what we're calling failure patterns. And so just walking you through the schematic on the right here, say I have 100,000 tests that I run on any given day, right? Out of those 100,000 tests, I might get a quarter of them might fail. And so what failure analysis does is looks at those 25,000 failures, looks for commonalities, and then might say, hey, look, there are only 5 different reasons why these 25,000 tests are failing. And so that means that 50% of these tests are failing for the exact same reason. And so that allows me to, then what failure analysis does is takes those failure patterns, ranks and prioritizes them based on the most pervasive impact, which one is having the biggest impact on the test suite, and allows you to kind of prioritize where you can go in and make those changes to your tests to ensure that they pass at a higher rate and further optimize your testing practice. Failure analysis is currently available to all of our customers. You have to request access to it is the only catch there. If you would like to try this feature out, I encourage you to let your customer success manager know so they can get you set up, or you can just send an email to failureanalysis@saucelabs.com and we can get you set up with that pretty quickly. So I'm sure there are a lot of questions. I know I went over time. I tried to rush through there at the end. So I'll just leave it here and say thank you. And I will be in the Q&A panel if anyone has any following questions about these features.